2026. You have the right to dance, you have the right to fill the space, you have the right to celebrate because this is your day. Allow me kindly to recognize the presence of Honorable Huda Olel Upton, the Minister of State for Defense and Veteran Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for coming and for celebrating with us. Madam Farida, please take your space. Honorable Nabakova, I beg your pardon. Honorable Nabakova has been with us all through. The Minister for Lands. She has Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for March Past. The parade commander is Honorable Lieutenant Colonel Asimwe. The parade is commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Ivarin Ureje Asimwe, and the parade second in command, Major Miriam Akelo Opio. Our distinguished guests, please be reminded that while the color parties approach, you'll be requested to stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, you may take your seats. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the parade commander has requested for permission for the colors. Maximum security, glamour, and beauty to the national colors. Thank you very much, the parade commander of today, Honorable Lieutenant Colonel Asimwe, for doing this at your best. She's now handing over to the parade twice.
Parade commander. Naomba kutoa kwa nje wa kiasi. Parade commander. Teresa.
Thank you so much, Ma'am. Honorable Lieutenant Colonel Evelyn Uredi Asimwe, for a wonderful demonstration. She has now handed over to the parade second in command, Major Miriam Makelo Pio. Now moving out under the command of the parade second in command. Her Excellency, Ma'am, I would like to recognize the presence of Lieutenant General Sam Okili, the Deputy Chief of Defense Forces. Lieutenant General Jack Agonda Makatumba, the Chief Joint Staff. Major General William Lenong Mista, the Commander of Military Police. Major General James Chinarwa, the Joint Staff Human Resource. He is also a Member of Parliament elect for the Joint of Parliament. Babonza, the Chief of Staff, Land Forces. You're most welcome. Brigadier General Mwangese Chiranda, the Chief of Staff, Reserve Forces. You're most welcome, sir. Brigadier General Fred Mwasike, the Commander, 1 Infantry Division. You're most welcome, sir. Brigadier Wycliffe Keita, the Joint Chief of Staff Training and Doctrine. Welcome. Brigadier General Richard Karemire, the Chief of Formal Education, Culture and Sports within the UPG. Thank you so much for coming. Brigadier General Godwin Karugaba, the Joint Staff Logistics, you are welcome. Major General Joseph Musoke Semwanga, the Deputy Chief
came with a total of 62 people mobilized by the Minister of State Public Service, Honorable Mary Grace Mugasala. Your Excellency, we thank you. The theme for this function in Kiswahili now, Your Excellency, is kuimarisha uwekezaji ili kutoa fursa wa kuzingatiwa haki kwa wanawake na wasichana wote nchini Uganda. That is, scaling up investment to accelerate access to justice for all women and girls in Uganda. Your Excellency, we are showing you that in Uganda we are learning Kiswahili very fast. Your Excellency, we would now like to hand over to the Director of Ceremonies. We have been Assistant Directors of Ceremonies. My name is Alice Aboli Muwanguzi, Special Presidential Assistant in the Office of the President. As the Director of Ceremonies comes, I would like to recognize the presence of the General Kale Kaibura, who was our Inspector General of Police, and retired Brigadier General Rebecca Mpagi.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, the Right Honorable Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, the Secretary General of the National Resistance Movement, the leader of the opposition party in Parliament, Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament, Your Royal Highnesses, traditional and cultural leaders, religious leaders, Your Excellencies, the Ambassadors and High Commissioners, religious leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm greatly honored to be the Director of Ceremonies as Uganda joins the rest of the world to celebrate the International Women's Day 2026. I'm sincerely privileged to have stood on this pulpit for the last 10 years as a Director of Ceremonies. I appreciate the appointing authority for giving me this very great opportunity to perform this responsibility. Today, as we celebrate and recognize the contribution of women to national development, regional integration, and the achievement of the global sustainable goals, our focus today is scaling up investment to accelerate access to justice for all women and girls in Uganda. Indeed, as we scale up justice, we have to recognize where we come from. Uganda was privileged to be one of the first countries in Africa to provide opportunity for women to take a center stage in the leadership of the country, to determine and shape policies that favor women in the economic development of our country. The struggle for women emancipation and gender equality started way back in the 1946. In 1998, the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination was able to constitute in New York. We are lucky and privileged today to have one of those who represented us in one of these struggles in Mexico, there was a special presidential assistant who I would wish to recognize today because we are lucky she's still available and present. Special Presidential Assistant of Police, Nakavira Jane Nancy, represented us in Mexico in 1975. She is around. I wish to request her to step forward over there so that we can give her a big hand of applause. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our demand for equal rights and access to justice is not just a modern fashion. It is a way, a pathway through which Uganda will be able to develop faster. We have been able to see how women have progressed from the time the NRM government allowed them to participate in all areas of socio-economic development. As the Vice President was moving around the stores, we have been able to progress from not earning any income or earning a coin at all, set by our traditional systems, to now being able to grow and be able to put up industries of our own. There are many factories and industries that were exhibited, and these are not all. These are only the ones who could make it today here in Kampala. But over the whole area in Uganda, women have taken a center stage in income development. However, a few challenges still stand, that in our quest and struggle for emancipation and gender equality, gender-based violence has remained high. 52% of all the women have ever faced physical violence. The few that have not had physical violence, at least economic violence, has been one of the daily bread they earn. Today, we would wish to mobilize not only women but also men to acknowledge and accept the space for women, to support them in developing this country and maintaining peace together. The peace of a woman is not necessarily the presence of guns. It is the peace at home. It is the space she has, the way she is treated, and the security she has at home and in the environment around her. The respect she has is what we call as peace and security for a woman. Your Excellency, the Vice President, we wish to request you to convey a congratulatory message to His Excellency the President upon his landslide victory in the recent concluded general elections. All Ugandans are firmly behind him to lead us to the path of socio-economic transformation and graduating our motherland into a middle-income country. Your Excellency, we wish also to thank you for all the support you have always given us during these celebrations. We know he has always been here in person. Now that he has sent a delegate, there must be also a very strong reason that he's not here. And I'm sure the delegate, who is the Vice President, will give us the right information. But we are confident whatever he's doing is for the interest of women wherever they are located. We want to thank the Kampala capital city for hosting this International Women's Day. We know the roadster, the duty roadster today this time was not yours, who should have been in northern Uganda. But because of circumstances that we could not avoid, it was important to have this celebration here in Kampala. And at short notice, you were able to host us. We want to thank you so much. And on this note, allow me to thank the Minister, Honorable Mr. Kavanda, the Minister for Kampala, capital city, and Metropolitan, for taking the lead in cleaning Kampala. Thank you very much for cleaning it up. Your Excellency, allow me to recognize a few eminent persons that were here that were not recognized before. But I want to appreciate the Masters of Ceremonies, who had done a tremendous job in recognizing all the other dignitaries that I will not be able to recognize here. And I'm happy that our Assistant Masters of Ceremonies had done a perfect job. I want to appreciate them here. Madam Alice Mwanguzi Abori, Omubita Arkwera. Thank you so much for always holding the platform, taking us through. You know our history, you know where you are going, and you have groomed a number of us. We never make mistakes on this microphone because of the presence of this lady. She has been our super glue on this podium. Thank you very much. Step forward and everybody recognize you by hand clap. In our women fraternity, we would have called her a general, and I think she deserves to be. We have Assistant Superintendent of Prisons, Mary Centenary. She looks as a centenary bank. Assistant Commissioner of Prisons has corrected me. Thank you very much for taking up the stage and for enduring the sun on every ceremony we have. We have always had you. Thank you for perfecting the skills. Major Terry Murunji Flavia Omubwat. Thank you very much. This one is the Director of Information, the Reserved Force. Thank you so much for perfecting the skills. We look upon you for the coming generation of the young people. You are their lead Masters of Ceremonies. We thank you for the job well done. Allow me to recognize colleague ministers who are here present. Honorable Samuel Helen, the Minister of State for Disability Affairs, she's over there. Thank you very much for the job you have been doing with persons with disabilities in the country. The Right Honorable the Second Deputy Prime Minister, Mama Lukia Nakadama, who was my predecessor. I am proud of her, that all the information she left in office is what I utilized to shine on the platform. Thank you so much for laying a very good foundation. Madam Alice Kavoya was my former boss at the State House. She's now Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, responsible for Luweero Triangle. Thank you for mobilizing our fighters. Thank you so much and congratulations upon reaching this milestone. Honorable Peter Okaris, Minister of State for Karamoja Affairs, Office of the Prime Minister. He was one of the first to come here in the morning. Thank you, Papa, for gracing this occasion. Honorable Mugisa Grace, Mary, Minister of State, Public Service, congratulations and thank you for being with us. Honorable Victoria Rusoke, Atwoki, Omubitokati, thank you very much. She's the Minister of State for Local Government. Local government is one of the biggest ministries we have. She manages to marshal it up with the Honorable Rafael Magezi. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion. Honorable Helen Adoa, the Minister of State for Agriculture, responsible for fisheries. Thank you for ushering women into the lake. The women are now fishing on their own. They are not waiting for fishermen to bring fish. Now I don't know the name we should be giving women who are fishing. Are they fisherwomen or fishermen? Fisherwomen. That's a new slogan because previously we did not have women on the lake fishing. Now we have a number of them because Honorable Adoa has ushered them into the lake to fish. Honorable Akela Beatrice, Minister of State for President Economic Monitoring. Thank you for monitoring the economy. I am happy that you are here to grace this very important occasion. Honorable Diana Mutasigwa. She's also with us, Minister of State in the Vice President's office. Thank you for gracing this very important occasion. I don't want to make a mistake of forgetting a very important person, the former Prime Minister, Honorable Amama Mbabazi. Please stand up for recognition with your wife behind there. You are one of the few that has been able to walk here today with your wife. A big hand of applause for the two partners to work together. this long journey. I also wish to request to recognize the presence of our ambassador to Turkey, Honorable Nusrat Peru. I'm sure everybody knows her because of the role she played in mobilizing for capacity for votes in the recent concluded elections. But she has been in the trenches of the struggle for gender equality and women emancipation. She is now the ambassador in Turkey. We have a consular general in Guangzhou, China. I seem to have seen the consular here. Please stand up for recognition. Yes, she's over there in the middle. Thank you so much, Mama, for coming here on this very important. Ambassador Chikafunda, I invited her personally. She's from India. Thank you so much for gracing this very important occasion. We cherish the journey you have been making and for the progress, the fight for gender equality. I don't want to take you longer because I'm sure many people have been invited, but allow me kindly to recognize the cultural leaders. His Royal Highness Isa Savaruri of Bururi Kingdom is the chairperson of Uganda Kings and Cultural Leaders Forum. He's there in his royal regalia. Your Royal Highness Paul Sunday Emormol Papa Iteso. Please, a big hand of applause. Ambassador John Atim, who has been the Secretary General of the Forum for the Cultural Leaders, is also here with us. We want to recognize you in a special way and thank you for gracing this very important occasion. Your Excellency, we are indeed honored to have many people coming in today. I am unable to introduce everybody, but allow me in general terms, thank you so much for gracing this very important occasion. Thank you for recognizing the efforts of women. I want in a special to thank the media. The media has pitched it up. This important celebration is not only happening here, but everybody is viewing us online. And the whole of this week, they have been showcasing the women's progress in achieving equality and justice, and also their contribution towards socio-economic development. Allow me on this very important occasion to request the minister, before I request the minister, we have the chairperson of the Women Council. Our chairperson of the Women Council, who has been with us for the last 7 years, Madam Farida. Madam Farida Chivawa, please walk slowly. Walk slowly and get here. Farida Chivawa has been a very instrumental cadre of the NRM. She has been a beacon of the women's equality, gender equality, and women's emancipation. She's a very strong mobilizer, even as you see her walking majestically. She wants to feel the applause for all the women, wherever they are located, because she has played a very instrumental role in leading the Women Council in the last 7 years. She is presenting herself with a very dynamic team of eminent women who have been supporting her within the journey. From the time she worked in office, she has worked with her team to this particular day as we celebrate the International Women's Day 2026. You have the right to dance, you have the right to fill the space, you have the right to celebrate because this is your day. Allow me kindly to recognize the presence of Honorable Huda Olel Upton, the Minister of State for Defense and Veteran Affairs. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for coming and for celebrating with us. Madam Farida, please take your space. Honorable Nabakova, I beg your pardon. Honorable Nabakova has been with us all through. The Minister for Lands, she has clarified, she has enabled the Land Committee. Many reforms now are within the land section. Let me mention this properly. The number of reforms she has made, Honorable Nabakova wants to appreciate. That you can go online and apply for a land title and have it in your names, and you will get it and in a very record time. So we want to thank you so much for this landscape achievement you have made in the lives of women. It was one of the hard spaces for women to get to acquire a land title. But within your time, I am told 30% of the women, of the people who own land, 30% of the women have registered land. Congratulations. Thank you for coming to join this important occasion. Farida, my dear sister, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Peace Mutuzo, our own, for giving us an opportunity as women leaders of this country to make a statement on this very important day. And it is our day to shine. Can I hear you? Thank you. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Major Retired Jessica Lupo Toto, His Lordship, the Chief Justice, the Principal Judge, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Majegere Wafe, Mama Nabanja, and the Deputy Prime Minister, Hajat Rukia Nakadama, the Right Honorable Secretary General, and representatives from the NRM Secretariat, and all the SEC members present, Your Highness, the cultural leaders, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Ministers of State, Your Excellencies, the Ambassador and High Commissioners, Honorable Members of Parliament, the incoming and outgoing, religious leaders, Head of Civil Service, RDCs and chairpersons of LC5, the Women Council leaders and the Women League from all the districts of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen, tusanso kubalaba. Mwebale kujja. Excellency, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you here today on this year's International Day, Women's Day celebrations here at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. This year's theme is scaling up investment to accelerate access to justice for all women and girls in this country, Uganda. On my own behalf, and on behalf of all the women of Uganda, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate